Alright guys, I'm going to talk to you today about present active participles. I hope you're amped up about grammar. This stuff corresponds to the new grammar that you'll learn in Lingua Latina chapter 14. Specifically, I'm going to look at pages 104 and 108 with you. So if you were to turn to page 104, you would see this piece of text with the Gallus singing Eke Gallus canit, and then you're introduced to the participle right here where it says Gallus canens nom diem salutat, all right? So right there, the participle is this, canens, all right? So I'll explain a little bit about what participles are, and then I'll go on to explain the formation, how to translate them. So a present active participle is a participle which is both present and active, as I'm sure the term implies. But the key thing to note is that they're verbal adjectives, right? They're formed using a verbal stem, they have verbal force, but they are declined like adjectives or nouns would be. They're not conjugated as a regular verb would be, all right? So if you were to look, for example, at what Lingua Latina says on the side, it says canens equals qui canet, right? But typically, if you're translating a participle in English, you don't want to give it the force that this relative clause would have right here. You wouldn't want to say Gallus canens and translate the rooster who sings. You want to translate it as the rooster singing or the singing rooster. I realize in this slide here I simply indicate that Gallus is a bird, but know specifically that it is a rooster. All right. So let me show you a little bit about how to form these. You may remember that verbs will all fall into one of these four conjugations. You have the first conjugation characterized by infinitives ending in are. You have the second conjugation characterized by infinitives ending in ere, and then you have third conjugation characterized by infinitives ending in ere. That is a short e. Notice ere, and then fourth conjugation characterized by infinitives ending in ire. Right? It will perhaps be a relief for you to hear that all of these will form the participles in exactly the same way. You don't need to remember a different set of rules for each one. All right? So you take that infinitive, your second principal part, and in order to form that present active participle, you're going to take re off of the infinitive. So if you had the word amare, you would take off the re, and you'd simply be left with ama. Once you've done that, then you're ready to add the set of participle endings, right? Oops, I moved that. You'll be ready to add these participle endings right here to that stem, and then you'll have your present active participles, okay? So if you look here, the participle is declined like a third declension adjective. It has a nominative ending in ns, but then it has this dental stem genitive singular ending in ntis. Remember the old rule that if you were to take off the is, that would give you the overall word stem on which to form all of the other cases. So in this case, you'll see that that t, the amant, is retained all the way through, except, of course, in the vocative, which is the same as the nominative. All right? So you have amans, amantis, amanti, amantem, amante, amans, amantes, amantium, amantibus, amantes, amantibus, and then amantes. So in the nominative, amans will simply be loving as the subject. You might have something like wir amens, sorry, not amens, that means crazy. Wir amans is a loving man. Viri amantis would be of a loving man. Viro amanti would be to or for a loving man. Virum amantem would be a loving man as the direct object. Viro amante as an ablative would be, say, by, from, in, with a loving man, or even with a man loving, etc., etc. And then amans, vir, or wir amants in the vocative would be, hey, you loving man. Perhaps not a frequently recurring phrase in daily life. Take a look at the plurals, same sort of idea, nominative again, amantes. So you had viri amantes, you'd then have loving men. Virorum amantium would be of loving men. Viris amantibus would be 2 or 4 loving men. Viros amantes would be loving men as a direct object. Viris amantibus in the ablative, again, by, from, with, etc., various ablative uses there. And then the vocative, viri amantes, oh, hey, you loving men. Right? Now, these will typically then function in a broader context. So let's look back at the Lingua Latina readings. Here you have Gallus canens novum diem salutat. You have the singing canens, Gallus, rooster. The singing rooster, novum diem salutat, greets the new day. Right? Then you get the stuff about Marcus, blah, blah, blah. And then you again have a participle here with dormiens. All right. Now this one, if you go back here, take a look at your fourth conjugation verb dormire. All you're doing is taking off that re and adding the participle endings to that. It's going to be exactly the same thing you did for amans. So go take a look at dormiens. Puer dormiens. Notice here, Lingua Latina is going to tell you that dormiens is qui dormit, someone who sleeps. This is true, but this doesn't give you a good key about the English translation you're going to want to use. Here, puer dormiens is a sleeping boy. Right? Now, what does this sleeping boy not do here? Notice non audit. Right? So puer dormiens, the sleeping boy, non audit, does not hear the gallum canentem. Here again you have a participle in canentem, but notice that this is now in the accusative case as indicated by this em ending. Right? So the puer dormiens, the sleeping boy, non audit, does not hear the gallum canentem, the singing rooster. Right? Another participle here with puer vigilans. Now, if you remember, dormire and vigilare are opposites. Okay, so if dormire is to sleep, vigilare is to be awake. We get the English derivative vigilant from this. So puer vigilans, the boy being awake, gallum audit, hears the rooster, et davum vocat, and calls Davos. Right? So hopefully that should be clear enough as it is. If you want a lot more practice with the participles, you can turn to page 108, and in the Grammatica Latina section, it'll explain both the declension of the participles, but be careful because Lingua Latina presents the cases in a different order after the nominative. You'll notice that the vocative is omitted, and then the accusative is placed before the genitive and the dative. I personally prefer this system, but I had already begun teaching you guys with the other system, and so we'll leave it at that. Take a look at these. Puer vigilans, the boy being awake, in lecto jacens, lying on the bed, gallum canentem audit, hears the rooster singing. Gallus canens, the rooster singing, non auditur, is not heard, a puero dormiente, by the sleeping boy. All right, so try reading through the rest of these and making sense of the participles. I'll ask you more about them in class, and we will leave it at that. Valete omnes.